Hello and welcome. My name is Kay and I like to tell stories. Today's story is a collection of drunk stories. I'm just going to put that out there. People being weird or confused while they're drunk. It could be asinine situations or it could be just something mildly funny. In about 1990, I was walking from my mom's house to my dad's house. Not really going to his house, but had to go past it to go to this one little convenience store. Just want to get some cigarettes. And I'm walking along and I hear this really loud music. Yeah, Dad's home. Okay. Just kept walking. There he is sitting on the porch. And I'm just talking to him. Can't hear him very good because his music is so loud. My dad loved country music, so he's jamming that super loud from inside of the house so he can hear it when he's sitting on the porch. Talking a little bit, yeah, just going over here to the convenience store, yeah, taking a walk. And next thing you know, a cop pulls up, gets out, and he goes, "Sir, your music's kind of loud." "Oh, it is?" The cop says, "We're getting complaints of how loud your music is." That's based because I can barely hear him. He can barely hear me from the sidewalk to the porch. Pretty loud. And my dad goes, "Well, why would they complain about it?" Police says, "Because it's pretty loud." And my dad says, "Well, it's country." And the cop's like, "Yes, it is. Indeed, country music, yes." "Well, it's country." He just could not understand. All the cop wanted him to do was to turn it down. That's it, a lot. Turn it down by a lot. You have it blasted on 9, maybe bring it down to 2 or 3 so that you're not disturbing the whole neighborhood. And my dad just couldn't understand. He was so confused and just baffled by this. "Well, but it's country." That's all he could say. And the cop would just respond with, "Look, it's not about what type of music. It's the volume of the music. If you could just turn it down for me, sir." And about that time, pretty toasty, he's good and drunk. And I said, "Dad, why don't you just go in and turn it down?" I'll do it. Finally, Dad just ended up having to concede it, but he just looked so confused as to why it's not okay to blare his brand of music. But if it was heavy metal, he would have been calling the cops himself or screaming at the neighbor, "Turn that down." That's how he usually was with this. But just the funniest incident with my dad being drunk, he was not a cute drunk. He was not a happy drunk. He was a mean drunk. This one was actually just kind of lower key because he didn't fly into a rage, didn't even really argue with the cop, just wanted an explanation as to why he needed to turn down his country music. And I have another drunk dad story to share with you today. This one I didn't get to witness myself, but was told about it by my mother. His old buddy so-and-so, as he always would call them, stopped by to see my dad in town that my parents had moved to after I graduated. This was probably around 1990, 1992, something like that. When his outing was over with his friend, he got dropped off in front of the house. There's a sidewalk leading from the curb to the door. Few steps, nothing too major. There was a porch and everything. Somewhere along the line, when he first got out of the car, he fell. But he managed to get himself up, sort of, made it to the door, busted up his face when he fell for the second time. Then he stumbled into bed, went to sleep, and when he woke up, he didn't know what was going on. Why was his face all bruised and scraped, and he didn't know what happened. So he asked my mom, she goes, "Yeah, I know what happened." And she said, "I'm not going to tell you." So she decided not to tell him what happened. Kind of revenge, but during this time they were going through a hard time, and she had told him about the drinking has to stop. That's what she told him, and he was aware of it, went out, got super duper drunk. Usually he never really got that drunk. He was drunk and he was stupid and mean, but he usually wasn't floppy. So this was a new one. My knowledge, she never did ever tell him about what had happened, and she just shrugged and said, "I'm not going to tell you what happened," due to his drinking, and she just couldn't take it anymore. They'd been married about 23 years, and that was it. She was done. I have one more story to share with you today, and this would be about my ex. When my son was very young, we had moved out of state down in the South, very far away from the state that we were living in. He used to stay at his brother's all weekend. I wouldn't see him usually till Sunday night, even sometimes not till Monday morning before he would go to work. During one of these times, he had decided to drive home in basically what would amount to the middle of the night, very early hours. It was probably around 5 or 6 in the morning. When I woke up, I was with our baby. We'll call the baby D. And my ex, I'll call him P. When I woke up, it was to the sound of a car starting very close to the house that we were living at. And by the time I could get up and look out the window, I noticed that our other car was gone. And that must have been what I heard starting up. Now, this is impossible because when he left 2 days ago, or whatever it was, he was driving his sports car Fiero. It was gone. He was gone for the entire weekend with the Fiero. When I woke up and saw that the other car was gone, how can that be? How can somebody drive 2 cars at the same time? This is very weird. When I went back to sleep, I woke up to a tow truck pulling in a smoldering car into our driveway, and I go out to see there's an officer there. And I'm like, what? What is this? Does P own a Fiero? Yes, he does, I told the officer. Then he pointed at the car and said, this is it. It caught on fire. And I'm just standing there staring at him. What? And he said, this was on fire when I happened to drive by it. And I saw it, but I couldn't tell if anybody was in there. And I was trying to get up to the glass, but the car just burned so hot, so fast, I couldn't get close. I didn't know, but is P accounted for? I'm like, we have another car, which is gone. I'm gonna think that he must have gotten in that car himself, and it wasn't stolen, and drove off, so he might be okay. I pick up the phone. I start calling his brother's house where he stays all weekend. No one's answering. Okay, maybe he didn't go straight there. I keep calling. So the tow truck driver wants to get paid. He said to me, I need X amount of dollars for the tow. And I said, I'm trying to get a hold of P right now, and I don't even have enough to cover it. And the guy said, okay, but you let him know that I need to get paid for this tow. And I said, yes, absolutely. I called and I called and I called all day. Finally, in the afternoon, late afternoon, he answered the phone. Are you okay? And what happened was the officer was coming past his Fiero. His car must have caught on fire. He ran back because it wasn't very far away from him. It was only just a few blocks, but we were out in the country, about 4 city blocks. So he sprinted home, started up the car, and drove off with it. Saw the officer there and drove right on by him. Didn't stop to say, hey, that's my car, I'm going to deal with it, or anything. And why is that? Because he had been drinking. And he didn't want the officer to smell alcohol on his breath or anything like that. He didn't want that other DWI. When I did get him on the phone, I found out these things that, yes, he did run home and he did grab the green Cadillac, which happened to have some bottled water in it in gallon jugs. That's what he wanted. He got the car, he had driven back, tried to put it out, saw the officer there, and just went right on back to his brother's. Not a word to me, would not answer his phone, was hiding out for a day after he just ditched his burning, smoldering car in a southern state where you don't always experience rain and things are dry. Really brilliant. So this is what I dealt with. Some kind of funny stories about drunk people, but some not quite so funny. But anyway, thank you for listening. I'll have more stories in the future. Take care, everyone. Till next time.